Hi, so welcome to the second episode in the Strategic Case Study Masterclass as we look at the key issues that we need to focus on and how we can position ourselves to pass the case study examination. Now, let me say that in the entire series, I'm going to be making a reference to my book on strategic case study. So this is my book on strategic case study. You can get a copy of this book for 120 Ghana cedis. You can also get it on Amazon globally, and it's available for you to get as well. But I'm going to be making references to this book because it has everything that I need in order for me to provide you with the guidelines that you need to be able to pass the case study examination. So if you don't have a copy, you can get a copy. If not, whatever case study book you have also, you are good. You can go with it as well. Now, in this episode, I want to take you through the overview of the case study syllabus and to look at a few things that we need to focus on in order for us to position ourselves to ultimately pass the examination. Now, the case study syllabus is broadly divided into 5 major categories. In other words, as you prepare and go into the exam hall, the questions are going to be coming from 5 major categories for 100 marks, and so it is important you understand these 5 major categories to be able to position yourself to pass the examination. The first category is the business strategy. This is covering 40% of the syllabus. This is really a broad area because this is where a lot of things will be happening. Under the business strategy, we're going to be looking at various things like environmental analysis. So you're going to look at the macro environment, the competitive or the industry environment. You're going to look at the international environment. You're going to look at the issues relating to the internal environment. You have to talk about issues in relation to corporate parenting, strategies that will enable an organization to gain sustainable competitive advantage, and various other issues. So really, there is a lot of material to be discussed under that 40 marks segment of the syllabus titled as business strategy. But that is the first part. Now, if we go by that, it means that all other things being equal, in the example, we're going to be having a minimum of 40% of questions coming from the business strategy area of the syllabus. Sometimes the examiner can get excited and even make it 60%, depending on whatever objective that he has for that particular examination date. But that is the first aspect of the syllabus, really lengthy. There are a lot of things there you must understand, and we're going to be trying as much as possible to discuss some few things there in this series. The second thing is risks. Now, companies are exposed to a lot of risks generally at the end of the day, and that is 10% as per the syllabus rating. So it's going to be in the exam hall. Not every time over the previous examination date has the examiner brought a question relating to risks, but it's a crucial aspect that we need to understand. Among other things, there are 3 things basically that we need to understand. Number 1 is about how an entity will be able to identify the various risks that it is exposed to. Number 2, assess the impact of the risks on the operations of the organization. And then number 3, find ways and means to be able to mitigate all the risks that they are exposed to at the end of the day. Now, if you're a good student from the financial management class, a lot of the things here, you're going to be familiar with them because a couple of the risks that a company is exposed to will include issues such as the foreign exchange risks, currency risks, you know that already. There is health risks, there is credit risk, there is liquidity risks, and there are a lot of risks that a company is exposed to. Then the company must find ways and means to mitigate those risks or even reduce the impact of those risks. And again, we can use hedging, we can use, forward contract, leading and lagging, we can use insurance, or sometimes the company will even avoid the decision totally, and that way they are not going to be exposed to the risks at all. So that is the second portion of our syllabus, just 10%. Depending on how excited the examiner is, you could have a 10-mark question in the exam or there will be nothing about risks in the exam, but you got to know about risks as well in the syllabus. Number 3 is ethics. This is also 10% as per the syllabus rating, and the ethics here is the same ethics issue that you know when it comes to corporate reporting generally. And again, it's an area that it's not every examination that the examiner is excited about, but you need to understand ethical issues on how businesses make various decisions. Because you see, when businesses are making decisions, the decision should not just be guided by the law, but it has to be guided by ethics, the acceptable behavior about what is wrong and what is right in the society. So for instance, if an entity is seeking to launch a new product. Okay, they have obtained the various regulatory certification, they have obtained the patent rights, they have done everything about the product. They have to also look at the impacts that the product will have on the environment. That is ethics. Because yes, government has given you green light, everything is okay, but if an organization is ethical, they will just think about the profits they're going to be making from the product, but they will also have to assess the impact of the products on the environment. And so what are the raw materials that we can use to produce this product? Should we use recycled materials? Should we use waste from the ocean to be able to manufacture this product so that we continue to have sustainable environments at the end of the day? All of these decisions are going to be grounded on ethics in case study. So in case study, the kind of ethics we are talking about here is not just about integrity, being honest and straightforward, objectivity, not allowing bias, conflict of interest, and undue influence to impact the decision and choices of management. It's not just about professional competence and due care, having the requisite knowledge, experience, and carrying out the work in a manner that is expected to be carried out, or confidentiality, not disclosing, but concealing information and not disclosing it to third parties without prior notice of the entity, and then professional behavior, not doing anything that will bring shame and discredit to the profession. It's not just about those things. It goes beyond that. It looks at the corporate conscience. In other words, whatever that we are doing, legally it may be right, but we have to look at it, the implication of that on the other stakeholders. What will be the effect of this decision on the environment at large, on the world at large, on our customers, on our suppliers? All of these considerations, it's based on what? Ethics. So yes, the background is going to still be those items that I mentioned earlier, but really here, it's about the conscience of the organization and how various decisions are made in order to help the company to be run in an ethical manner. The fourth thing is going to be financial strategy. This is 20% as per the syllabus grading or rating, 20%. And so here, there's a lot of issues here. Again, if you're a good student from the financial management class, almost everything here is coming from the financial management area. Because here you're going to be looking at various things like an entity is seeking to expand and grow. And so they are seeking to launch a new product or buy a new machine. Okay, what should they do? The capital budgeting process from investment appraisal may be applicable. Or better still, the entity is still seeking to appraise a project. So what do? They have to use the investment appraisal methods or techniques, internal rate of return, net present value, accounting rate of return, all of those things. Or the company is facing liquidity or working capital challenges. What are the ways through which they can use in order to ensure that they have the necessary working capital to prevent any solvency issues in the short term as well as in the long term? So we're going to look at sources of finance. It's a crucial area as well that we have to look out for. So a lot of the issues in finance, in financial management that you did in level 2, in case you were exempted from that because you came in with an MBA or an MSc, I guess you did that in your MBA and MSc. So go back and go read that very well because it's going to be applicable here as well. But not only that, the other financial issues has to do with also assessing the performance and the position of the organization. So this is where we're going to be using ratio analysis and various other indicators to be able to really assess the performance of the organization and also provide a blueprint for the organization in order for it to be able to expand and grow. Then the fifth thing is going to be corporate governance. This is 20% of the syllabus. It's a crucial thing. It's primary here because corporate governance has to do with the way an entity is directed and controlled. And so there are symptoms of poor corporate governance you must know about. There are corporate governance models or frameworks that you must know about. And each of these models and frameworks, there are specific items under each of them that we need to understand because the examiner can just pick one heading of a model for corporate governance or a framework for corporate governance or a theory on corporate governance and ask you a 10-mark question about it. So it's a crucial area. This is where we're going to be looking at the board structure. We're going to be looking at the efficiency of the board, the role of non-executive directors, the subcommittees of the board, their roles, the audit committee, the risk management committee, the nomination committee, and a lot of other issues. So these are the 5 broad categorization of the strategic case study syllabus, and that is what you need to understand in order for you to then position yourself to ultimately pass the exam.